My name is Darko Tresnjak, and next summer for the 75th anniversary I'll be directing Twelfth Night. And it's exciting because I've never directed it. And I realize that mostly every time I've directed a Shakespeare play for the first time with a company, I've done a really obscure play. I've done The Two Noble Kinsmen 3 times, All's Well That Ends Well, Pericles, so it's unusual for me to come into a new situation directing a really well-known play. And I think most people, they think that there's something kind of scary about doing these more obscure plays, but for me actually this is a new, unusual situation with Twelfth Night because mostly I gravitate towards the plays that are not Shakespeare plays that are rarities, but I love Twelfth Night and I can't wait to do it. To me, Twelfth Night, in many ways, I always think of it as Shakespeare's most perfect combination of plot, character, and poetry. It's perfect synthesis of those three elements. It's an exquisite, exquisite balance. And I think what is important to me about the play is that both the comic sections and the romantic sections of the play come from the same place, that they come from the same rich source underneath. It's something that I think about a lot. And I think, my favorite aspect of the play, it helps actually if I mention that All's Well That Ends Well is actually my favorite Shakespeare comedy. What I find similar about the two plays is that love, or more accurately desire, in these plays is very much a restorative force in human existence. It's not perfect, but nevertheless it's a healing agent. So, and what I mean by that is that in Illyria, the citizens of Illyria seem to be sort of consumed with self-love, with pride, with melancholy, with loss. So there's something about this figure that enters their world, Viola, disguised as Cesario, and various productions and directors and actors have interpreted why the characters are attracted to Viola or Cesario. Is it the male, is it the female? That changes from a production to production, but undeniably there's kind of she's a kind of a force of nature that brings all of these characters out of that she shakes them out of their mode. Primarily, I think it's a mode of self-love, so that's something that I find very beautiful. And I think the flip side of desire in Twelfth Night is that it's also, it can lead to very comic situations and to cruel situations, which is certainly the case with Malvolio and his pursuit of Olivia. Directing Twelfth Night here for the 75th anniversary, knowing that it was done here originally in the inaugural season, I guess all I would say about that is that it's an extraordinary, extraordinary honor, and that I'm very happy to be doing it. And so the way that it's entered into the creative thinking about the play is that I don't want to neglect any of the issues that I see in the play. Not the comic side, not the romantic side, not the ambiguous side, but another side to this experience is that for the 75th anniversary, it should be sort of a celebratory experience, that it is a kind of a celebration. So I'm going to try and balance those two things, what I see in the text and the fact that it is an extraordinary occasion. So, and regarding working on this stage, on the Elizabethan stage, it's really interesting because for the past 7 years I've worked at the Old Globe Theater in San Diego, and both this stage and our outdoor stage in San Diego at the Old Globe have been designed by the same designer, Richard Hay. The proportions are actually, I feel like I could take a measuring tape and it would come out the same. So as far as working in this setup, that's frightfully familiar because I've been doing it for 7 years. And I very much enjoy working in a rep situation. I think actors who work in a rep situation, working on a few different characters on a few different productions, I think actually it enriches their experience of each individual role and the length of rehearsal time and the tech time, because it's longer than the average equity schedule. What's great about it is I like to call it the brewing time, the percolating time, so that the actors, when they're not in rehearsals, the ideas really have a chance to season and one gets to a much richer place. So